Corolla Cross Hybrid. Woohoo! You were not a fan.
You're going.
I'm going, man. I'm gone.
All right.
This actually has something resembling power now, because here's what's happened when you take the new grade Prius.
Yeah.
And you actually take all of that all-wheel drive running gear and you shove it into the Corolla Cross Hybrid, which is another place where Toyota said, we need another 5-seat SUV. We drove the standard Corolla Cross a while back. It had 169 horsepower, and we didn't love it. So here we are doing other things now. We're in the hybrid version, which has 196 horsepower, including more power because of the hybrid, because it is the same system underneath as the Prius all-wheel drive.
I really didn't like the Corolla Cross gas-powered car.
Yes.
The SUV. What are we calling it? SUV, CUV.
CUV, yeah. Lifted Corolla. Yeah.
Because it didn't have enough power.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I am looking forward to the hybrid version because you will have the torque of an electric motor that will make it drive like a normal car. I'm right. And I'm happy that I'm right.
Didn't have enough before, and now it has a decent amount.
It feels actually interesting and good, and this just makes all kinds of sense, because if you're buying this, you are looking at two things. First of all, gear, people, stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
It's an SUV, so it's got space. And miles per gallon. It's incredibly impressive. 45 in the city, 38 on the highway, 42 combined. That's really impressive for any 5-seat SUV on the market, and it feels and drives and accelerates normally. That is a win, period.
Great cars, great roads, and all the reasons we love to drive.
Road trips, comparisons, test drives, and podcasts. This is Everyday Driver.
Toyota pioneered hybrid tech. I mean, think about it. It was
Yeah,
the
they
90s.
did.
It was 20 plus years ago that the first Prius came out. They have pioneered it, and now they have refined it so far, they're putting it in everything. And the truth is, it belongs in everything. I mean, Toyota, like every car manufacturer out there, has these supposed big plans for all of these all-electric vehicles they're going to sell. But the reality is that the hybrids are working. There have been other cars in Toyota's lineup that we felt like were improved in hybrid version. This is added to that list because we could not find the purpose of the Corolla Cross in standard form. In hybrid form, it speaks up well for itself. Now, the question I still have is, this or RAV4? Now, the RAV4 hybrid is going to be probably 10 grand more than this, because this is 35 grand.
Yeah.
So that may be the argument for why this and the RAV4. The RAV4 is a little bit bigger, it's a little bit nicer, yes, it's a little more expensive. That's the only thing I can think of, is this is the down market one of the RAV4. Otherwise, I'm like, why do we need another 5-seat SUV?
Kind of. I mean, you've definitely answered the question. Toyota tells us they have sold 71,000 gas-powered versions of the Corolla Cross. My question is why? Most people just need that 5-seat SUV, and they need a good price. And I understand that. But as far as a car that drives well and has power, it lives up to none of those things. I hate to say it, but all those buyers should have waited for this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Because Toyota made noises about it. It wasn't announced necessarily, but Toyota did make noises that the hybrid version of that is coming. They started with the gas-powered version. This has great power. It's still under 200, but that electric motor torque gives it the shove it needed, especially when you're loaded down.
Totally.
And for $35,500, this is the one you want. And it's the XSE, which pretty much gives you everything.
Yeah, it is loaded
Even
out.
have the black badges, which are the sporty badges now.
This has some slight styling differences, the black badges, the black roof, some unique colors that let you know you got the hybrid. So that is something that they have done to actually differentiate this over the standard version. But I agree with you, this makes the standard version irrelevant. And the standard version was already irrelevant because we couldn't figure out why it existed. You can get this for around 30, pretty nicely equipped.
You're right.
This,
you don't have to get the
is the press version, so 35 loaded up. Now, when you spend 30 grand, you're barely getting into a RAV4 at all. I see what they're doing here. Do we need this many SUVs? I would say no, except I will say this is a color. We don't have a silver one. We don't have a 5-seat, middle-sized SUV on this review. We at least got red. Yay us. And I like
embracing colors.
I also like that the hybrid has color availability. That's the other thing. It's not like you made the hybrid and we offer it green and silver. Remember that almost champagne-y green that Priuses came in? It was like, what is that color? Thank God that's gone.
Seafoam metallic.
There it is. It was. That's exactly what it was. That's gone.
It's like the mold that grows on the seafoam.
It was that,
version of that, but still.
Now let's look at the other side of this. This has a CVT. When you ask for all the power, and it has okay power. Please don't misunderstand. This is not like, wow, this is powerful. It's the power the prior one needed
Correct. It's the power it needs.
And for all of your normal life stuff, it has enough power for that. Now, the flip side, though, is when you ask for all of it, just like in the Prius, this is loud.
Yeah.
And droney.
Yeah.
Because
it's
it
mostly
is
the
the
CVT.
CVT and that electric motor and the gas motor, everything working together, and it just creates the perfect storm of whine. But you can get power that you need out of this, and I do like that. And they are positioning this as this is I'm starting my life car.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
a good point.
See that. We need a little bit of space. Maybe we're going to go do some fun stuff. Oh, we got to get stuff for the apartment. That's the positioning. So it is like the beginning of life car, and then like the RAV4 is like, well, the kids are little. I think that's the other position.
I
too.
suppose
And then they
so.
want you in the Highlander beyond that, which also comes in hybrid.
And then the Grand Highlander is coming.
We're working our
But don't
way
forget
through
the
the Toyota
Sequoia,
line.
because then you get off-road and
That's because you want to go off-road with the
things.
kids and you got to haul something.
Yeah.
We're essentially just building out Toyota's portfolio right now is what we're doing.
This is product planner thinking.
Yeah, it is.
The interior on this just works. And my perception towards it has alleviated.
I need you guys to understand,
lessened.
we didn't film a Corolla Cross review because we couldn't see the point. We had one and we talked about it on the podcast and just kind of went, okay. Because this actually in hybrid form seems like a halfway decent buy, whereas before we couldn't see the point of the standard one. I hate to say it, they keep selling. 70,000 people bought the standard one and they bought the wrong vehicle.
I
I'm sorry,
agree.
but they did.
The problem with that one and the lack of power colors everything else about it. It's hard to see past because you can't get a decent drive out of it. And you can't keep up with traffic. It cannot get out of its own way. I was driving it and I didn't have enough power. The transmission couldn't think quickly enough to get out ahead of a truck, a big semi-truck. That is a problem. Just because the engine is understressed and low powered enough to get as good a gas mileage as you can doesn't mean it needs to be built.
Fair, okay.
It was kind of terrifying that I didn't have enough power to get out and keep up with traffic, whereas this changes everything. And I think hybrid is becoming not just the new standard for Toyota, but for people thinking about, I want good gas mileage, I need to look at a hybrid. It doesn't necessarily just mean a gas-powered engine. We love gas engines. They make great noises and great power, and they're lots of fun, and not every car needs to be a hybrid. But to your point, if you're looking for something that does everything, fits your life, is easy to drive, and just easy to incorporate in your life, this is way up there.
Well, an 87 octane and the flexibility of the fact that you can fill it with gas and not worry about, do I have to plug it in? It just works as car, but then you can get really good gas mileage out of it. I mean, how many 5-seat SUVs are out there where they give you this kind of gas mileage? I'll tell you, very few.
Very few.
Very few.
It stands way up there.
Now, the Corolla Cross hasn't been around very long, but you can actually find it on Auto Tempest. You can search local dealers through autotempest.com/everyday. You can go there right now and do that. Or if you're searching for other things like, the non-Corolla Cross, the old Corolla, or other SUVs for Toyota and others, still works with Auto Tempest. Checks all the used car sites, even Craigslist and Facebook. So autotempest.com/everyday. We didn't high five because it's just not worth it. I'm sorry, but we are back in it, and we are going to keep driving it. Wireless Apple CarPlay. This is the interior of the Corolla. That's where this is the Corolla Cross. It just means lifted.
Just means jacked up.
That's exactly what it means. I personally struggle with why not get the Corolla hatchback. I don't see the point in that regard. I don't understand
Space.
Having said
and you want to sit up tall.
Because you want to sit up high. Because
wanna
I
sit up
actually don't
tall.
think you'd lose a whole lot of space getting in the Corolla hatchback. I think you'd actually be fine. And I actually like the Corolla hatchback in manual. In base form, we like it a lot.
See, look at that.
It has power for when you need it in normal traffic.
It's the Prius all-wheel drive drivetrain.
Yes.
And that electric rear motor just pushes you. You can feel it. And you just get going like normal in traffic. You're not struggling because that affects your driving. The lack of power affects your driving. You're having to think ahead like, I got to get on the power sooner, really plan ahead. Good power in a car is very important, and I think Toyota's really done a great job making this appealing. I can definitely see why these will sell, and you need to have waited for this one. Seriously, trade in the old one. Just sell it. Get rid of it.
The non-hybrid is not worth it.
It really isn't.
We've talked about this.
This is worth your money.
We've talked about it on a few of Toyota's SUVs, including the Highlander, that we find the hybrid one to be the best option. And in this, I really think we may be saying for the first time ever, the hybrid's the only option.
Well, the problem with a gas-powered motor that's underpowered is you're going to be in the high rev ranges all of the time and not getting good gas mileage.
Because you're
just
trying
to keep up
to
with
do
traffic.
something, yeah.
So it negates the entire point of putting a low-power engine to get good gas mileage in, because you're going to be at 5,000 RPM everywhere.
Help me, please,
Really,
please.
that's
let me
what I
get
was
up
doing,
front.
wringing the thing out, and it
Yeah.
still wasn't taking the weight of this thing. So the electric motor changes everything, and I like this. It's not for me. I'm not looking for a
It's
very
very
5-seat SUV, but I can see how this is compelling.
It's very middle of the road, box check, gets everything it needs to do done, but it doesn't have the problem of the prior one where you don't have enough power for you to even go, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes.
This at least makes sense now. It's not the market that I like. I really do feel like, let's get a manual transmission Corolla hatchback. But I also like manual transmissions
Exactly.
and I like hatchbacks. Yeah, see, that's just droney.
That's droney. I'm using paddles, so you can go to sport mode. The lever to the left here, and then you've got your paddles back here. It's always the engine plus the CVT is just making too much noise, but that's just inherent.
But at least you have that power that is on tap with the instant electric shove and all of that, which is that's a huge. We keep coming back to it because it is a defining thing that makes this viable for us. That wasn't the case in the prior version. I truly struggle with the overwhelming amount of 5-seat SUVs that exist in the market.
It'll continue.
Yeah,
It'll proliferate and continue.
There's 70,000 of these were sold last year. This is a market that sells above all else. So I understand why they keep making them. I just wish we as the collective people buying cars had a little more imagination. We didn't have to all buy a 5-seat SUV
I
in silver.
agree.
This one's red. I'm so excited about red. I mean, can't you
Does
tell?
differentiate it.
Look at me.
This is what we're all trained to like. Sit medium high, so you're not, you're almost up to pickup truck level, but you're above the sedans. It has great cargo, space for all your people, your stuff, your family. So about the ride quality, this is not a handling standout.
That was very, very nicely put. That was excellent. You eased your way on in there. Yeah.
But considering the audience, considering the buyers, it needs to have a good ride. It can't be very stiff. That affects the handling. So
True.
Nobody buying this is going to look for a handling standout
No.
kind of vehicle.
Well,
There
you
are
certainly
SUVs
can't.
that do.
Yes, this is not one of them.
You pay twice the price for them, though.
At least, yes.
This rides great. We're on smooth roads. We're on smooth San Diego roads here. But even freeway driving, it's a comfortable, long-distance road trip cruiser.
It's not crashy at all. It absorbs bumps well. It also doesn't give any hint that it's athletic. Nothing about this feels athletic. And they were talking in the
Doesn't need
briefing
to be.
about how this is the sportier option over the more rugged original option. Now, the original option I think is underpowered to be rugged. If these has slight styling tweaks, this isn't really sporty either. This is every bit as sporty as the original is rugged. They're neither. But if you're buying it for, we need cargo space in the back, we've got friends we want to take with us, the way that people really use CUVs, it does all of that well at a good price with good gas mileage. You've got to throw out a need for refined drivetrain. Other than the fact that it trades off a lot all the time, and Toyota does that well, the drone is terrible. It's bad.
It's bad.
But okay, all right.
Acceleration. The needle's deep into the power, indicating the gas engine's on. But look at that. It just accelerates.
We're just up to speed. We're just
normally.
in
It's
a normal
not
way.
quick.
No.
But it
it's-
accelerates with traffic.
Yes.
It keeps you feeling normal, which means you can just enjoy.
We're going to use B-roll from a nice sunny day so you guys can hear the rain but not see the rain. Yeah, It's funny to drive a vehicle from Toyota that we not only just prefer the hybrid, but we think only the hybrid.
I don't want this any other way.
I agree.
But funny enough, Toyota knows this. Toyota only builds some vehicles as a hybrid only. The Venza.
The Venza's only hybrid. The Sienna minivan is only hybrid.
Sienna
Yeah,
minivan.
You're right, yep.
Why not
Yep.
this?
I agree. This could be hybrid only.
There's no point in getting to market quicker with the gas-powered version.
When you're 75,000 sales that were poor choices. The interesting thing here is they have something that they have improved with the hybrid drivetrain, and they have yet another entry into that 5-seat market segment, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But they needed something below the RAV4. They've accomplished it here. Doesn't Corolla come in a hatch? Oh, sorry. I shouldn't
It
ask
comes
you
in a
question.
car.
I know. It comes in a car and a hatch.
Yeah.
Smaller, sportier, but okay. That's not where we are. We're making CUVs. Bravo.
driving IFR right now.
It's funny. It's very good.
Driving with my instruments.
Can't use our wipers right now. It'll knock the camera off the windshield, so we'll peer. It's okay, officer. We're professionals.
It's okay. We're professionals.
Can't you tell?
Exactly.
One look at me.
Exactly. We're
That
YouTubers.
guy's a professional.
Oh, you're YouTubers.
Uh-huh.